Conquering Crypto Show Friday night. So the rules tonight are a little bit different. We're going to try something out for the first time. Tonight I have decided that I'm going to trade live in an attempt to scalp some good prices for you guys to see what it looks like when what I'm doing most of the day. When I say that I'm scalping and trading live, I want you guys to see just exactly what I'm doing. So I figured I'm going to do that live with you guys together so we can get some more ideas on what we're looking for when we're scalping, what are good scalping trades, how to set that up when it comes to showing your position on screen. And that's what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to what are good scalping trades show my position on screen, because I did originally, I was going to put up the screen for KuCOIN in like a corner or something, and then I tried it out and it just wasn't working out like I wanted. So I've got my iPad, that bad boy's ready to go. I'm gonna have this off to my left. Apparently I still have to log into that, but the other one that I'm going to be doing primarily is going to be on my phone. And I'm going to have KuCOIN open, of course. I usually use both. Maybe I'll just use my phone if the laptop gives me trouble. So basically what I'm going to be doing tonight is I am in the futures section. The futures section of KuCOIN. So this is considered to be futures trading. You can find this, I believe, if you're outside the US, Binance has a futures section. And I know like Gate.io might have a future section. There's a few places you can go with exchanges that have some really solid places that you can do futures. My favorite one is KuCOIN. To me, it's the best one. I'm going to share my feed, and then we're going to get started on some of the coin that I'm usually doing, some of the coin that I wanted to go over. Somebody asked me if I could go over a coin. I was going to wait till next week, but I decided let's just do it tonight. Why not? And we're going to do a coin called Ray, R-A-Y. For now, I'm going to share I am going to share me going live. You guys know how it works by now. Just give me a minute. Okay, so now we shared a couple of those. Let's see what else we can do. Zachariah, what's happening, pal? Yeah, I guess you might be the first one here. What's going on, man? I don't know if tonight's show will be busy or not busy at all. I have no idea, but this is going to be me live trading. I have a lot of people that hit me up that are trying to do futures more and more and more. And I figured instead of me trying to fight it by saying like, oh, guys, it's so difficult. You really shouldn't. You should practice more regular trading. I just figured I'm going to go and I'm going to really just show you how I do it, so that this way you can get an idea of like what I'm looking for. It's a lot of support and resistance. I do use a good amount of indicators, and you can see which ones I use. Copy me if you like when it comes to indicators. I don't recommend copying what I'm doing trading tonight at all, just because I'm going to be looking for good examples, but they might not work out. I'm going to be setting my stop losses tight tonight, just that so we can see. So I won't be, because I'm going to be doing a lot since I'm talking to you guys and doing other stuff as well. I'm going to be putting the stop losses tight. Demi, what's happening, pal? All right. It's going to be a party. Mike asked me, my other Mike, my other mic. One of my mics asked me to do a coin called Ray, so I'm going to be checking that out. Looks rare rewards are killing it. That so looks rewards that you've been getting into. Things have been doing pretty sweet, huh? And that question's for you, Denny. We can go over looks right now. I'm not starting the show yet. I'll wait a couple more minutes, and then we'll start the show. I'm getting worked on my bat short right now, but I do have a pretty good entry, so back down. Dude, I've done really well with BAT for the last couple days. I want to say I'm up 250, 300 just on bat. I think for the week I'm up about 1,000 on my most of them are shorts, but I'm up about $1,000 on my futures trading. So I've been doing pretty decent. We can go over, you know what, while we're gonna wait a minute, we can go over that looks. This is for you, Denny. Now, Denny, last time, I'm not sure if you finished up the show the other night, but the coin that you gave me, homie, when we went to look them up, they're too short, man. I know you wanted me to check them out, and but they're just too short. Like, I can't do anything with this. And the other one you gave me, I tried to chart as well, and it's like I can't do anything with it. There's not enough information. I tried to look them up on KuCOIN, and it's still, I just wasn't getting good information, so there wasn't much I can do. What's that other, Denny, what's that other coin that you were looking at? 135 with and 23 tokens. Yeah, I know it's new, but that's the problem, is it's so new that I can't really chart them, you know? What was the other one? There was one that we were looking at last week, I think on Tuesday. And Zach, I told you about that divergence. I'm not 100% if that is a bearish divergence, but if it is, it's going to be a weak one. So don't think that because of where it was, it's definitely a bearish divergence. Divergence can be weird, man, because you have to monitor two things at once. So I'm not a big fan of using divergence, hidden divergence, exponential and divergence. I'm just not a big fan of it. Oh, come on, Denny. Dang, I did it all for you last week. What the heck was it? Man, what the hell was it? You had me look up some coin. Damn. And in fact, there was no trading view for it. I could find it on KuCOIN, and the mapping seriously was like a day. It was like a day, and I'm like, I can't do anything with this, Denny. You're killing me. Well, actually, if we go and look on the last show, it's on there because I did it for you still. I guess maybe you weren't around when we did it, but I did it for you. So we can go back to that and maybe recheck it out on Tuesday, but there just wasn't enough information. Looks is looking pretty decent. If it started out at 3.3, it's now at 5. Yeah, seems to be doing great. Okay, we're going to get this kind of started. Welcome to Conquering Crypto Friday night. My name is DeMarco. This is Conquering Crypto Live. If you want to find us mostly, you can get us on the Facebook or Discord. We do have a TikTok. We do have a trading view. If you want to tip me, you can tip me on Venmo for all of this wonderful information that I'm giving you. You can find us pretty much everywhere all over the web. Instagram as well. I'm surprised I don't have actually Instagram up there. So let's see. Let's go over, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the coin that I went over. Let's see. Some of the coin that I went over last week, like recently. I want to see their lows and just how they're doing. And then I'm going to start looking for live trades, things that make sense to me. And if I think like they're going to do good, we can live trade them together. Now, of course, since you can't see what I'm doing, right? Since you can't see my trades, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up for you so we can both look at it visually. So we can look at it visually like this. So you can see my entry point. You can see where my stop loss is at. And it's just real simple so you guys can keep track of the trades. Then when we set one up, maybe we'll go to the next one and come back to one. Something like that. But we're going to check out live trading. See where it's at. Yeah, but you know it's supposed to be the opposite, right? You know they're not supposed to match. I don't know if you knew that. Let's see. I'm taking a look at the picture now. Yeah, dude, I wrote you comments. So if you want divergence, divergence means that the when you're using the indicator and price action, you want them to be the opposite. So divergence is when the indicator is saying one thing and price action is saying different. Or actually, I should really say price is doing one thing, but the indicators are doing the opposite. To me, the indicator on this looks neutral, and you do have an uptrend up top. Let's actually, you know what? I'm going to share that. But I don't think you have enough divergence on the RSI. That's why I don't think. Yeah, correct. 100%. The RSI is supposed to be lower each time. So it's supposed to, if you have an uptrend, the RSI is supposed to be a downtrend. Okay, the opposite. And that's how you form the divergence. But I do not see that just because it's going sideways. But of course, it could still be a divergence, just a weak one. That would be considered a weak one. Let's look at that. I'm going to save this real quick. So this is the divergence that he has set up. So divergence is kind of tough. I'm not a big fan of finding them and doing them, but the bottom line is you have price action who says one thing, and then he's got an indicator on here. He has the RSI saying another. The way you want divergence to work in this case is he would want this to be going down while this is going up. And we can read, let's see if we can read. Bearish divergence. Let's see if we can get an idea. So here you go. Bearish divergence. Here you go, Zach. You want this to create the higher highs in price action, but you really need that RSI to be heading down for a bearish divergence. See what I'm saying? So that's the point I was trying to show you. You know what I mean? The opposites. That's the whole point of divergence, is they're opposites. See? Indicators and trends that are opposite. So even if we've got one price going up and we've got the RSI going sideways, I think it's considered to be a weak bearish divergence. But if price was also going up, for example, if price was going, oh, here's my pyro pet. If that came out of nowhere. If price was also going, if price was going up and your RSI was going up, of course you wouldn't have it at all. If it's sideways, your RSI, then it's weak. And if it's the opposite, which is what you really would be looking for, then if that was the case, then it would be a solid bearish divergence. Of course, you can have different like types and versions and all that. So the point being with that is, I know you found it earlier, and that's why I like typing to you. I like when you show me this stuff too. You need another ape NFT? Yeah, Danny, I need one just to begin with, man. I've been dropping out. I won't lie. I've been dropping out just a little bit with NFTs for the moment. Of course, I still have a couple, but everywhere I look, there's a few. You know, there's maybe like 20 people I follow on Instagram, and they all continually say the same thing, and I think it's right. They keep saying that 90 to 98% of NFTs are going to drop to zero. So it's hard to want to get into NFTs when you don't know where the winners are. And I don't have enough under my belt about NFTs to start buying stuff out. You know what I mean? To see what's going to work. But like things that seem to work out and have a chance to be something like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, that's great. But there's like a billion NFTs. So it's great that there's like one or two that are doing well, but what happens to all these thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands that just don't? Right. So you're exactly right. You have to get the good ones, you have to get the ones that are desirable, and then flip those. We went over mine. I'll show you guys mine again. My cute little we'll show off my NFTs. I think they're so funny. Where the hell am I going here? We can look at my beautiful NFTs again, and we'll just go over those real quick. So here you go. We've got my two NFTs. I've got my Pancake Bunny Lottie here. I've got her up for about 270 bucks. And I bought this guy right here, my beard dude, my bald beard dude with the rainbow shirt. I got him for like 50 bucks, and I did see him sold for over a couple hundred. So I have him up for sale for the exact same price. And this is considered to be like a free one that they give you with your account on PancakeSwap. These are the NFTs that I own. I do own Pyro Pets, which is Metric's version of NFTs, and they've got actually Metrics has some NFTs that are looking really interesting. They've got Space Cadets, and they've got Space Cadets, and I guess the Pyro Pets. No, they've got like one more. Anyway, Metrics, of course, has their own network coming out like Solana and all that. Actually, it's already out. But you can then get your NFTs on the Metrics network, and it's pretty cool. I've been doing the Pyro Pet thing, and it's pretty neat, you know. And they are selling, so that's been fun. They're fun to study because you're basically judging art. Yeah, more or less. It's kind of just like taking that whole philosophy where you could walk into like a art studio, and if I'm somebody important, famous, popular, or rich, and I walk into the place and I see a picture, and this is the picture, okay? This is the picture, and all of a sudden I go, oh my God, I've got to have that circle. It's beautiful. It speaks to me. Well, then I create a million other circles and I hope they sell. But that's the idea. Is it seems like the ones that are popular are going to be the ones worth millions of dollars. But I just don't know how well the other one's going to do for now. Once the metaverse kind of stuff takes off more, I think we're going to be. I think it's going to be doing better. But I still think like there's just too many projects to try and go through to see what's going to work out. And I really don't have that kind of time, especially when it comes to me trading all the time. Okay, so I'm Denny. I hope Metrics blows up too, man. I've got quite a lot of money dumped into that, and you know what? I'm just letting it sit. Metrics hasn't been doing very well, but they've got a new roadmap out. I hope they do well this year. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's go over a little bit of coin, and then we're going to get into some live trading. Thanks, you guys, for coming out, and we're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. We're going to see if I can make any successful live trades. Or I should say, we're going to do some futures live, and I'm going to be trading. Let's see if I can get some stuff that's worked out. I've had a pretty successful week. The week before that, I did terrible, but this week has been pretty good. So we're going to go over Bitcoin, of course. We're not going to spend a lot of time going over coin. I think it was Joe earlier that asked me where price is right now with Bitcoin. Can we still get down to 30K? The reality is we are now in consolidation. We can fall, we can rise. The market is going sideways, and that's another problem if I'm going to show you scalping, because sometimes it can take me an hour or two just before I even find a trade that's worth it. You know what I mean? Before I can even find something that's actually might be a winner. But I have this type of I want to show you guys, for those of you that do futures out there, there's a thing that I have, and it's called a super bounce. That's what I call it. So, you know, trademark that. So that's when the altcoin you're trading and Bitcoin are both coming to either a support or resistance point, and one is in the spot and the other's in the spot. Bitcoin starts to move in the other direction, and so does your altcoin. Now, I found a couple of those this week, and I'm going to see if we can find any more tonight. But whenever I find these super bounces, man, they work out really well. They're, of course, not easy to find, but... So this is our current tunnel. It's kind of a tunnel in a tunnel. We don't have a lot going on here. Just like I think Zach asked the other week, like, hey, what happens when price is down? What happens when price is down toward the end of the chart and there's nothing to go by based on earlier price action? And the reality is you kind of just have to wait You have to wait for more price action to develop. That's what I do. I'm sure there are other things you can do if like you really just want to get into the trade. I'm sure there's other avenues you can take, but that's all I'll say about that. Is I wait for more price action so I know that I can win at the trade. Because if I don't think I can win at the trade, I don't go into the trade. That's just bottom line. I don't like wing it. I just I don't enter the trade. Okay, Bitcoin, we're going sideways. We're not doing a whole lot. Of course, our mini tunnel, actually, our mini tunnel has changed a little bit. So our inside tunnel right now is going from 38 resistance to 35.5 support. Our outside tunnel or our major is all the way up at 38.5, and our support is down at 33K. So we're going to have to wait to see how things play out from here. Can it drop down to 30K? Absolutely. Can this be the reversal point we've been waiting for months? Absolutely. So we really just have to wait and see what's going to happen. We're going to go over Ethereum. The other thing that I wanted to mention that is I can't find, if I'm not able to find the trades that I want, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over some scalping like opportunities. So we can jump around and we can find stuff, and I can give you examples by reversing time to show you what the trade would look like if we can't find anything live, because it just doesn't happen all the time. Ethereum, it's kind of following Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It's doing its thing. It had this bull run. Now it's on the bear tunnel. Things are like really charging up. I feel like where all price is at. So I feel like this is like a good low. This is probably as low as it's gonna get. I don't know if 30K is coming, but I think this might be as low as we can get. We did a lot of prices on Tuesday night. That would be good prices to fit into, good prices to get into if Bitcoin does drop. So we'll see what happens with that as well if Bitcoin drops. I want to go over GRT, which is graph. Graph, like we saw it the other week, it fell out of its triangle. This triangle was a lot smaller. This was up in here, and price just kind of fell out of it. So we're just going to move the triangle. Not a whole lot going on with GRT. It does appear to be at a nice low, though. It was all the way up at 2.8. That was way back February of last year. And right now, price is at 0.4. We'll see what happens. Zach says probably hit 38,800 tonight or tomorrow morning, and that will determine what happens next. I don't know if it's that simple. We could be in this consolidation route for a while. So that's one of the things that I wrote up back when we were on top of the uptrend line. Is part of the issue is we don't have anything specific to get us up out of our bear tunnel. We don't have anything, like we did get some good news recently. Russia promised now not to ban crypto. They're gonna enforce it, and they're gonna be friendly to trading. And there was a few other things. Arizona just put up a bill. I think that might have even been recently. Arizona put up a bill that they're gonna be accepting Bitcoin. The state somehow is legal tender. They put that in some kind of bill. So with some of this good news, things have been moving. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know if we're going to see these crazy highs like soon. It could take a month before we get over 40K and we stay there. It could take 2 months, or it could happen this weekend. We don't know. That's what's been so crazy. I've had this talk with Brett, and we both agree. Tracking Bitcoin right now with how it's been, like the only thing we're sure is we're still in a bear tunnel. That's it. We're still in a bear tunnel. It's not the November 9th bear tunnel. We moved out of that into another tunnel. We've now moved into like a Christmas bear tunnel because we did break out on the 22nd and fell from there. So whatever. Doesn't look good. And yeah, Russia, whatever, man. Well, just like China bans mining, like seriously, like twice a year it bans mining, and I don't know. They like put it out for press, but every time it happens, of course, Bitcoin reacts. Um, Crypto is also susceptible to news changing its price, and that's I think was a big deal when we broke our major uptrend on Bitcoin when Russia decided that they were going to ban it. That was like part of the news. That is what caused us to fall, and bad earnings reports. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I want to go over. Let's see. I want to go over. I had a few other things, and then we'll get to some trading. We'll see if we can do some trading. We're gonna go over HAPI real quick. So again, this would be something like Zach was talking about last week. So he was saying, well, usually when you do TA, you go back. You where you are currently, you go back to old price areas and you use those for your current area, right? But if you don't have anything to match it with, what do? Well, you look for patterns itself. You look for patterns individually, flags and flagpoles. You look for entry areas that are like basic patterns. But honestly, for the most part, you just got to wait until more TA forms. HAPI is still at the bottom here. It's at 25.7, and it got all the way up to 130. So I think HAPI is one of those that might eventually jump back up as well. Let us also go over, let me see, I had a few more things that I wanted to check out. I want to go over this new coin for Mike called Ray. I don't know if it's a new coin. It's called Ray, R-A-Y. I've never checked it out before, but it also looks like it's at one of those points where it's now down in a low, just like me and Zach were talking about. So let's see. We've basically got a nice big arc on Ray. Let's check it out here. I don't think I would call this a cup or a cup and handle. To me, it's just, price action. Not a whole lot going on there. It did get a high of 17.8. Right now, it's all the way down at 3.14. I don't know a lot about Ray. A buddy told me to check it out tonight. This could be actually, like, if Ray, I have to look into it, the white paper and all that. If this is going to be a coin that's going to be something in the future, then this could be one of those all-time lows to get into. Now, I don't know much about it. I just literally, this is the first time I'm even looking at it. So, Ray, there you go. And this is for Mike. He just wanted my opinion on the chart. It's just not a lot going on. It's like half a year old the way it looks. Had a nice jump late August. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen with Ray. I did want to put it in my long list. So now Ray is permanently added. So if we see any major changes, Mike, we will definitely check that out in the future. So we got that out of the way. I want to check out Doggy, Snoop Doggy Dog. Let's take a look. We're going to do a few more, and then we'll see if we can find some live trading. See, honestly, it kind of stinks because I'm looking at Bitcoin, and it's in like really tight consolidation. So what sucks is I don't think there's going to be anything like really worth it to trade, but that's okay because we will go over some older attempts and maybe see what we can do with that and see what works out based on some old TA. We'll see what comes about. So Dog is still hurting. It had a little bit of chance recently. It looks like the beginning of January it did all right. It's back down. I think this is low as it's going to get. If you're into Snoop Doggy Dog, I think 0.14 is probably the bottom. Like if Bitcoin gets down to 30, I don't know if we have Dog pegged. Yes. So I think the lowest that Dog will get is 12 cents. And I do have it between 12 and 14 as a good pickup area. So we'll see what happens with Dog. But Dog, it's still in the doghouse, so to speak. A lot of this stuff is. We're waiting for the Bitcoin reversal. Let's check out SHIB. SHIB is something I haven't gone and checked out in a while. From what I checked, it hasn't been doing anything. That's another issue. It's hard to have these shows, right? It's hard to give you guys these live shows when there's not a lot going on in the market. People are only get excited when people are making money, right? For the rest of us who are slogging through it, who like have to be in the market and do things in the market all the time when the market's going sideways, that is the worst thing possible. Like seriously, nobody wants the market to go sideways. It is having consolidation is the worst. At least if it's going down, you can buy lower. You can save and wait. If it goes up, you're making money. If it's going sideways, it's just driving me nuts because then nothing's happening. You're not even supposed to be placing trades when the market is sideways, and that is something they teach you, to not enter the market when the market is sideways. So today it might be a little bit tough, and honestly right now it might be tougher because it seems like seriously we are on hardcore sideways consolidation. So let's now look at Solana. Solana's in the same boat. I don't think Solana's changed much. 91 right now, the high of 260. Solana, of course, is going to be a big boy. And yeah, Zach, it does suck. But we just have to stay the course. Don't change things. Don't freak out. Don't make emotional trades. It sucks, and we just have to wait. We have to relax, you know, chill, wait. Because once the good stuff gets here, man, there's going to be bull runs and profits to find all over the place. Solana is still back down at 90. I think it did get up to 100 a couple days ago. I'm surprised it didn't start our way above that, but until Bitcoin makes its move, guys, we're not going to see too much. Let's also go over MATIC and FTM, and then we'll see if we can find some trades. MATIC is still on its uptrend. The uptrend was broken, as I see here. MATIC we had pegged. What do we have it pegged at? That, oh, now price got up a little bit higher. Price is at 1.7 right now. I think it would be a perfect buy between 1.05 and 1.2, which is down here. So even though Bitcoin has not fallen, we are still in an area where it could be the low, you know, depending on how Bitcoin does. So, you know, Bitcoin is so dependent at this point. It's like sickening to even talk about how dependent we have to be on Bitcoin just to wait for it to do something so we can move along with it. So very touchy. Every little move that BTC made, Sol made bigger moves. That happens actually with a lot of coin. When the market is hot or not, you'll definitely see the coins moving way higher percentages, either with Bitcoin or Bitcoin's movement is affecting it more often. But yeah, it does appear like Solana's been doing a little bit, or I'm sorry, this is MATIC. MATIC has been doing a little bit better since. Solana seems like it's still been, I don't know, not doing much, dude. Look at that. That's much of nothing. Just boop, 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 sideways. That's it. All this sideways movement is killing me. Killing me. And again, we're probably going to have difficulty trying to find something to trade, but we'll go over some stuff. We'll go over some tips and tricks that I use, and we'll see if we can come up with anything cool. And the last one we're going to do is Phantom FTM. It was on an uptrend for a while. It broke that. It re-entered a new one. So you know what? This is kind of our new overall trend right here. Let's see if we can give that just a basic line structure. So we do have another trend forming that we can use to our advantage. The perfect prices to get Phantom at FTM, we had written down. You know what? I'm not sure if we had it written down. Yeah, 1.6 to 2. These orange lines. I should have already known it. So there you go. That's kind of everything in the market. Again, it stinks to do this now. But again, I'm still doing my live show. But it stinks to do this when the market is so crappy, either falling or sideways, because people don't have interest. So when I do the show like this, it's why I'm so grateful when you guys come out. It's awesome because I'm not showing you anything super special. We're just kind of like going over the market because there's nothing to jump into for massive pumps right now. And that sucks. That's just the way it goes right now. So it's like, all right, guys, let's do some KuCOIN trading. So, all right. So I'm sure, as you know, KuCOIN has an area I would use the desktop version, but I feel like it's safer if I use my phone, so then my screen's not up. But what I'm going to do is if we find any trades, I'm going to give you examples on screen so you can see how I set them up, what I look for. I then put points of take profit. I put points of stop losses. And I do multiple at the same time if I find those super bounces I was talking about. If I find multiple of those, I jump on each one I can just because you have a higher chance of winning on those. They're not guaranteed wins, of course, but once you get into futures, you can explain the realized P&L versus unrealized. I don't know if I know the exact difference. I just follow the one I think that says realized. Like, I'm sure they have some kind of math. Listen, I definitely do not understand all the math behind the futures. I just know how they work. I don't know specific math. Like, when it comes to the multiplier, sometimes it's not perfect. When it comes to how much they take out, like a fee, sometimes that's different too. And if I short, they take out a higher fee. There's a lot that I don't know about futures, but it's still what I trade the most. I do futures more than anything else just because I like the setup, how I can get in and out of trades quicker. And if I find something I like, I throw the multiplier up higher, and I get a higher return, which is what I want. I always seem to be negative on the realized P&L. Then you know what? How about when I start one later, if we find one to actually start, I'll look at mine actively, and we'll see what we can get with the realized and unrealized. But I don't know if I've noticed a difference. I know one of them's like grayed out, one of them's green, and I just follow the whatever the top one is, the ROI. Okay, so the first thing we have to do, it's going to be a little bit tough because I kind of wanted to split the screen. Hopefully this is working out for you guys at home. I'm going to try to extend this for you all a little bit. See if I can drop this down. And let's see if I can move this down more and give you guys a little bit more room to see the actual charting. All right. So what are we looking for when we're scalping? So I'm huge actually on support and resistance bounces. So the first thing we have to do is we're dealing with perp. Okay, so we're dealing with all the perpetuals. So the first thing I do is we're going to go on my list, and I have all the KuCOIN futures. You see all this? Every one of these is what KuCOIN has in their future section that I can trade on. See how they all say perp? So these are the perp perpetual contract versions of the coin. So now, what do these follow? They follow Bitcoin regular. Now, if you want to, you can use the Bitcoin perp. I've done that as well. See how on the bottom, this is the perp version. But I think it's just the way it feels. I like to use, typically, the regular BTC. So we're going to go and we're going to select my regular BTC. That's fine. What about this one? Which one do I want? Guess this is fine. Sometimes everything doesn't load. Like, I've got certain things set up and it's not loading, but that's okay. We'll get it all set up. So I need pivot points. I want the standard. No. Where is the pivot points that I use? What happened to them? It's not missed pivot points. Missed super trends, no. Hey, what happened to the ones that I used? Ah, there we are. All right, we're gonna get rid of that. This is supposed to be in the green. This is going to be in red. We have to do the same thing up here, more or less. So again, this is what I'm doing each and every time that I go to scalp. This is how I set things up. Now, it's not always exactly like this. A lot of the time, since I have 3 screens, what I'll do is I'll move multiple screens around. So maybe I've got something I'm tracking here, maybe 2 or 3 screens here, and then the actual trading I'm doing is on another screen. So I have things all over the place. If you could see, I've got multiple screens. I've got the iPad set up and my phone because there's just a lot going on. So I like to keep track of it. Man, it looks like Christmas in here, doesn't it? Look at this. So what we do for the most part is we try to track. Now I'm actually going to open up a new, we're going to open up a new chart that is just Bitcoin by itself. Actually, you know what? Since we're doing it, since I'm doing this to show you, oh, Sister 19 LLL online, cool. Since I'm doing this to show you, why don't we search for coin? And since we already have a setup over here on what Bitcoin's doing, we'll take a look at what Bitcoin's doing. Because remember, Bitcoin is the most important thing when it comes to our scalping. So we're going to drop this down. We're on the 30-minute. Let's drop that down to the 5. And let's look for some coin. So let's look for some perps. Let's see if we can find anything. And when we're going through it, since I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find an actual trade, so if I see something that looks like a teachable spot, we'll stop, we'll check things out. Nice tunnel right there. So let's see. All right, now here is a good instance. This I want you guys to watch this, okay? So first of all, we've got to get some indicators on here. So I need my 4 EMA. I'm going to change my 4 EMA. I'm basically showing you exactly what it looks like when I trade, okay? So we want the, what do I want? I want the 50 and the 200. Okay, so I only want 2 lines when it comes to my EMA. I then want my pivot points, my high-low. So in here, the high-low pivot points are the ones I want. I do like to change them so I can actually see what I'm looking at. You know what? Make this lighter red. There we go. And we'll make it a lighter green. Okay, so of course my pivot points are the high-low, green on top, red on the bottom. Now, of course, if I'm looking to short, we'll see what happens with that. But if not, then, you know, whatever. So let's also put up, I also like my RSI. I use the RSI plus. And then the last thing that I typically use is I've got a MACD that I absolutely love. And I stick that on top. And sometimes it's a little bit different. So now we've got our setup, okay? So I've got my RSI, my MACD, my pivot points, and my EMA. Now we also have the visual range over here, and since we have so much going on the left, I'm actually going to bring my visual range back to the right. I usually like it on the left, but since it's getting a little bit crowded over there. Okay, so now this is a perfect example of something we can check. Now, let's look at how price action's moving, okay? I hope you guys can see it. I know the screen is cluttered, but again, I'm using a condensed version for you guys. Normally, this is spread out all over the place, and it's not this condensed. So let's see what we can do. And this is going to be BAT. Now, I did really well. I got all over this fall, and I did really well this week on this fall in BAT. And I think the other one that I got in was Band, BAT, something like that. I can go through my records if I wanted to. But anyway, so right now, with the EMA, I want to make sure that I've got this set up right. So my 50 is going to be the purple. The 200 line is going to be up top. So as you can see right here, we had, this would have been a death cross, meaning that death is coming, meaning that price is falling. So there you go, is a death cross there, and this would have been the golden cross here, guys. So you see how price shot up after the golden cross? Price typically falls after a death cross. The death cross is when the 50 EMA passes over the 200 EMA, okay, on its way down. And the opposite is the golden cross, when the 50 EMA, or maybe it's a 200. When the 200 passes through the 50 EMA. So this long yellow line here is our 200. When it passes over the 50 and the 50 is on its way down, that's a death cross, and here's the opposite over here. And it's important to look for this kind of stuff, because if you can find this kind of stuff while you're scalping or doing that, you can predict price a little bit better. Our RSI on the bottom is showing the relative strength index. When it gets up top, that means it is overbought. When it gets to the bottom, that means it is oversold. And we can use that as an indicator, kind of like the MACD a little bit. When it gets up to the top area here, you can expect, for the most part, price to then fall after it hits the top, right? Rise after it hits the bottom. And of course, we have our MACD up here. This also has an EMA floating inside of it. We have a histogram that's matching it, and we have our signal line in the middle. Now, what we want, this actually looks pretty good. So we want to take all of these indicators, right? And we want to get like a basis. I think the way it looks right here is, I think that price at this point might stop here. It might get halted, and it might go back down. Now, that's a big maybe. That's because, and we're going to deal with, so time frames are important too. So for right now, the 6 hour is saying that the MACD expects this to keep climbing. The RSI says that it should drop at some point. So you gotta cross things out when they match like that, right? Or when they don't match. So one says up, one says down. It's kind of a wash depending on how you want to do it. The visual range shows me that there's there's barely any pickup down here. And what do I teach? What do we say? When the visual range, wherever it's at its biggest, that's where it gravitates to. So the visual range is another indicator for me that price might continue rising. So here's what I typically do, okay? I drew a line here. This line is to represent where I think price will stop and possibly reverse. So what I do is I leave it there. I don't touch it. I can mark it if I want. And what I'll do is I'll show you an example of what I want to see. Okay, so I'll draw out actually my own price action. So we've noticed this. We had a pivot point here at 65. We're now rising back up here. Will we break that line? Will we fall? It looks like we might actually break that line up. So we're going to ignore that for the moment. Let's say we go back to Bitcoin, okay? And Bitcoin looks like it's falling. So let's give that example. Let's look. This is the kind of things that I'm looking for, right? So I'm just giving examples. Let me find my brush. Let's say Bitcoin is starting to fall. Okay, let's say it then gets below 3,700. Since it's not doing literally anything right now but consolidation, there's no reason to trade if nothing's happening. So I'm just going to give an example. Let's say we start to fall down to 37. That gives me the indicator. That tells me that BAT has more of a chance of falling. Okay, that's how we look at it. It's more of a chance. Because it's not 100%, by the way. So just because Bitcoin is in control doesn't mean that it always, the coin you want, reacts exactly to how you want it to. It just I want to say 90% of the time, maybe 80, 85% of the time. So let's imagine that price is starting to fall. Okay, a little bit more, and then back down here. So what would that look like? So first thing we would do is we would need confirmation on our next candle. So let's imagine that we get a nice red candle right here. Now we could still get that, but let's imagine that we get a nice red candle right there. All right. After we see the red candle and it closes on the bottom of the red candle, we go, that's confirmation. This is so important. And Zach, I want you to understand you need to use Zach, especially because I talk with him a lot about this. I talk with maybe 6 people now about futures, but I talk with Zach about futures the most. So this is something I want to show Zach. You need confirmation before you enter a trade. You will get more wins if you wait for confirmation. In this case, confirmation would be a big red candle. Confirmation would be a big red candle that ends at the bottom, and once the whatever time frame I'm on moves over, once it gets to that point, confirmation. We feel comfortable enough to enter the trade. Okay? So again, we're going to imagine price falling. How would I set that up? Well, first of all, which direction are we going? We're going south, right? Yeah, Zach, let me tell you, man, you'll make more money with waiting. It sucks. It is hard. I'm probably the least most patient person that I know in existence, and I've had to learn that if I don't learn my patience, I lose money. I don't like losing money. So I've had to learn some patience. So this is our short position. This is great because it shows you your stop loss. It shows you how much you gain based on how far you'd go. So let's say, guys, that I found that red and we entered the trade. Okay, boom, we entered the trade. Let's pretend that this is up right now. Now, of course, I can't give you exact numbers, but let's give you something to understand. So price starts to go down. Let's say price then goes sideways. Let's make this smaller. And price starts to head down even a little bit more. Okay, so we have a few options on how we want to deal with the trade. So one of the things I like to do is I like to set up points in my trade on where certain amounts are. So for example, if I know that once I hit my target, I make $100, okay? And I can do that because right when you open, I don't know if I can show this. See, it stinks because I'd have to enter a trade for it to happen. But right when I start a trade, there's a spot at the bottom that says profit and loss. I click that so fast because I have been burned before, especially when my multiplier is up higher, because that means if price heads down or up based on how your trade goes just a little bit, trade is done. You get liquidated. They take your money. And I've lost like $500-600 like that doing that before. Just because of such volatility, it moves under a certain point and they just liquidate your money. Now that's why this is dangerous, and that's why you must set stop losses when doing this. Must. You must set stop losses when you're doing this, okay? If you don't, you can do what's called being liquidated. It shows you when you place the order, it shows you your liquidation price. And honestly, just so long as you have something that's before the liquidation price. So this, for instance, let's say I place this order. Let's say this is a $100 order, okay? And we're just gonna say that if I hit my target, I've made $50. So I can either set a profit amount, a take profit amount, if I want to. Like if I can't monitor it, if I can't actively sit here and go through it, like let's say me and the wife gotta go shopping and I've got an open order, I will put the take profit and I will go. If I'm sitting here actively monitoring it, then I won't always put the take profit, but no matter what, you must absolutely put a stop loss. If you're not putting a stop loss, man, you are just you are risking to be in some deep shit. And it has happened to me too many times when I first started doing futures way back, and I'm just not dealing with it anymore. So I've learned just put the stop loss, leave it alone. It might even not be the stop loss that I keep, but what the stop loss does is it stops liquidation from happening. So if let's say this is a $100 order, okay, and if I get to this point I make $50. Well, let's say that $100 order, let's say this is a multiplier of 5. Let's say when price gets to here, liquidation hits. Well, guess what? If it gets up this high in this trade, for example, they take the $100. No questions asked. They just go, that's ours. That's the risk. This happens in margins too. That's a whole different ballgame. Margins is when you actually borrow money and you use that money as a little bit of leverage on your trades. I do margins as well, but futures I think is more fun because you can just make the money quick, especially with the multiplier. So, okay, let's get back to our trade. So we had this area here. Okay, so this would be where my stop loss goes, by the way, guys. Right about there. Okay, so why do I want it to be? Actually, no, I'm sorry. That is incorrect. If this was a big red candle right here, I know it's hard to, I know we're playing pretend. If this is my entry point, okay, right there. If this is the big red candle, that's the worst big red candle I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Let's do one of these bad boys. And let's make it red. I'm trying to do the best I can here with making a quick red candle. Oh, it's terrible because the actual thing is already red. Forget it. Okay, so anyway, you get the point. This is a red candle. This is the bottom here. That would be confirmation. So that's where I place my order. So that's where I put that area. What I do almost all the time as habit is I place a blue line. So blue to me means order placed. Okay, red, then of course I use a red line typically, but I like to use this more often than not. It just keeps your order intact, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's say that this was my order right here. Where would you put your stop loss? Where's smart? So if this was previous resistance, this spot right here, I'm betting that price will not go past that point again during this trade. In other words, I will put my stop loss pretty tight to the top of this candle because this area in here is where I don't expect price to get past that point. So I can make a tighter stop loss to lose less, right? Okay, so we have our order. This continues down. We've got our stop loss in place. We have our order placed. And price has started. Now, price might actually start to get back up a little bit. Okay? It might try to get matched. And that's okay. We can just sit and wait. No big deal. I should really be using a pen for this, but that's all right. What we eventually want to see is for price to then start to fall. If we do start to see price falling, we now have an option of taking out profits at certain points, okay? So if we know, let's say I'm in the trade. Let's say this is live. Once it hits 25, I can go, I'm happy with that, and take my $25. I don't hunt for big wins. Hunting for big wins to me is harder than hunting for a lot of small wins. If I decide to go out on my trade on 25, that is money gained for the day, right? Well, let's say, of course, that whole 25 isn't what you get after, but let's say you get the whole 25 after. Well, if you do that 4 or 5 times, you've now got 100, 125, 150 bucks for the day. If you've got 150 bucks for the day and you do that 4 or 5 times a day, you're doing pretty good. $500-600 a week. And that's what I do all the time. That's why I like these small wins. If anybody wants to know what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And I think I'm going to start doing live shows, not live shows, but I think I'm going to start doing live trading in the afternoon. It might be a Patreon thing I do in the future. For now, I'm just giving out info, but it might be something that I do so that people can come and with me, see what I'm trading, and maybe we could even have a little team or group that looks for this stuff together. So anyway, so now I price it at 25 and I go, you know what? I'm not greedy, because if you try to be greedy with futures, you're going to get burned. So I go, you know what? I'm not going to be greedy. End the trade. So boom, I end the trade at 25. I take my $25, goes into the account. I've got 25 extra dollars. Okay? So now out of my 100, let's just say I started with 100. So now instead of 100, I have 125 bucks. Great. Great. We're working our way towards making more money for the day. And that is all that really matters. Don't try to make 500 or 1,000 bucks. Just try to make 25 here, 40 here, 40 here, 20 here, 30 here. Because at the end of the day, if it's 100 to 200 to 300 bucks, that's a lot easier to do than waiting for 150, 300. Because especially with the sideways market, forget it. There is no way you're going to get that high unless you're using a higher multiplier. Now, that's another deal that I can't explain. But if you use a higher multiplier, it goes up to all the way up to 100 times, the liquidation area is tighter. So let's say I've got like a 50 multiplier on this order, and it just price starts, right? So the trade starts. Well, guys, if it decides, just for no good reason, if it decides to jump up a little bit, you're liquidated. You're liquidated instantly. And guess what? If that's a $100 trade, $100 gone. That's why this is dangerous. And that's why higher multiplier is dangerous. I usually stay under 20. If I find a super bounce, then I go hardcore. I can go up to 50. I've even gone to 60. I think the most I ever did was on Bitcoin, doing a Bitcoin perp. I did it 40 or 50 times, and I ended up making $4,200 on a $300 wager. And that's the best I ever did. That happened sometime over the summer. And that's the best I ever did. Now, of course, I wasn't searching for $4,200. I was hoping to at least just maybe like make $100 on that, but I did really well. The multiplier was high, and I got lucky. And I'm sure that can happen again and again. Okay, so we just tried BAT. BAT's not looking too hot to trade. Let's go back over to Bitcoin. Now this is interesting. Let's look what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin is falling a little bit. And this is what's so damn important, man. If we don't go over Bitcoin all the time, then we're not looking at the full picture, okay? And I want you guys to know that. If you're not monitoring Bitcoin, then you're not monitoring the coin. You're only monitoring the alt. You're not monitoring the whole picture. So I'm going to open up another page. This is fine. That just has Bitcoin. We're going to get rid of some of this stuff just so I can look at Bitcoin. So you see how Bitcoin's fallen a little bit and we're inside of this tunnel. Now you see how the bottom is solid right now? So that means, what does that tell me? That means that price might continue to fall. Great. Perfect. Let's go see if we can find a short or two. Okay? So let's go around our perp list. Let's see what else we can find here. Let's stop at BNB. Now, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a resistance point. So now that I know, okay, this is what I'm telling myself. Because remember, the more you lock in everything that I'm showing you, the more you lock in, the higher your chance of succeeding is on the trade. That's why we do all of this stuff, because losses add up just as quickly as wins. So you want more wins than losses no matter what. So we're trying to reduce loss risk. That's what I'm trying to figure out the entire time while I'm doing this, because I don't care. I'll spend an hour just to make $10 because that's $10. You know what I mean? Now, I know I've got thousands in my accounts, but if I just make an extra $10, that's an extra $10. Great. That's fine. Anything that's a plus, that's not a negative, is just better for you. So right now, BNB does not look like it's at one of those points. Let's continue. Bosun. Nope. So we're looking for something that it's on a resistance about to fall. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. I do like finding these things that I call super bounces. And that's when, because Bitcoin's not perfect right now. If we look at it, this is not a perfect bounce. A perfect bounce would be if we're up here and we recognize that it's starting to fall, okay? But, of course, this is a bad way of showing it just because this is such bad consolidation, guys, that it's even hard to find a trade. But let's just say it's going to continue to fall. Let's keep looking. Bosun, it's not going to happen. That's not it. BSV, nope. CHZ, what are you doing? You're at the bottom. Comp, you're at the bottom. Crow. Now, what does our RSI and MACD tell us? Now, we're on the 6 hour. Let's go to a different time frame. Now, remember, with different time frames, you're going to get different results. So what do you want to trade? That's what you have to overall look at. You have to just pick a time frame and try to trade that. So this looks like it's on the MACD. This looks like it's at a point where it should continue to rise. What's our EMAs telling me? The EMAs look like, they're not telling me much. They're sideways. The RSI is getting close to the top. Not close enough to break through. So this, again, might not be another trade. But we do have one of those opportunities to place a line. And the reality is, this could be a resistance point. Let's get in here a little bit. Because this actually might be something that we could trade. So do we see how this is like now a resistance point? Okay. If Bitcoin keeps falling, here's what's happening. Okay, let's look at what happened earlier. See this right here? See this fall? Let's look at this fall and how much. So that's a 10% fall. I'm perfectly happy with 10%. If I put $100 down, I've made 10 bucks, 10%. I can put the multiplier up, whatever. So is this going to then fall another 10%? Because we've got support at a nice level now too. This could actually be something that we could work out. Small profits, right? Small profits. Now, what is it going to take for this to keep falling, guys? I think you already know the answer. Bitcoin has to keep falling. Then I know that crypto crow is probably going to keep falling. What is Bitcoin doing right now? Now look, it kind of stopped falling. So you see how we're developing more of a doji where we have our inverted hammer. Now it might stop. So it's like, do we think it's going to continue going down? I don't place my order until I am 100% sure about which direction Bitcoin is going. Because Bitcoin, sadly, is the master of your coin. All of your alts follow what Bitcoin does to a certain degree, right? So if this is just chilling right now at 37.5, we've got Crow here at 0.416. So we know if Bitcoin continues to fall, this should continue to fall, especially because we just got off of a bounce. That would have been close to a super bounce. I want to give you an example. If this was a little bit further back up here, you see these tweezer tops right here? If Bitcoin was also up at these tweezer tops, that is a perfect spot to then place an order, or at least wait for confirmation to then jump into a super bounce. Now, they typically don't happen in consolidation times, but since these are tough consolidation times, the best thing we can do is use them when we see them. They might not be crazy, 100% pump. You're not going to see that nowadays, not until the market reverses. But when the market gets better, I will be showcasing this again. But this is an example. So now you see how it's still falling? Let's see. Is this going to be something that we might want to do an order with? Now, hold on. Now, like I said, even if I could just make $10 to $20 to $30, I'm happy. So I'm going to set my leverage. Okay. Let's look a little bit. If we can close the bottom of this hammer so that it turns into a full red candle, I might enter the trade. Now, I warned you guys, this would be a little bit of watching, a little bit of waiting. So I hope this isn't too boring. I hope I'm at least showing you guys what's going on. Hey, Darker Storm, what's going on? We can check on AVAX. So right now, Darker Storm, what we're doing is we're doing a live KuCOIN trading session. Usually we go over coin through the entire show, but because this is a special show, we're doing live KuCOIN trading. But since not a lot's going on, let's go check it out. Darker Storm, have you been in here before? Right? Aren't you on the Discord? I could swear. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you have 15 minutes left on your 1 hour countdown timer? On your 1 hour? What are you talking about, Zach? $15 minutes left on my... Yeah, I thought you were. Darker, we've talked before. Yeah, we'll go over AVAX for you, my friend. Why not? So let's get rid of some of this stuff. Let's see how AVAX is doing while we're kind of just waiting for the market. On the BTC chart, Oh, right on, man. Glad to have you. And this is our live show. Glad you're joining us. This is a little bit different show where I'm doing live trading. We're actually looking for things to trade live on KuCOIN futures. Uh, oh, my wife decided to stop by. Hello, my dear. Hi, wife. Before the candle closes, on the 1 hour chart on BTC. Oh, hold on, because now I'm being asked to do too much. So on BTC, I'm on the 6 hour. So what are you saying before? Do you have a 15 minutes left on your 1 hour countdown timer? I'm not sure what you mean, Zach. I'm not sure what the one hour countdown timer is. Oh, I'm moving things around. The 1 hour countdown timer. 1 hour countdown timer. All right, whatever. We're gonna have to come back to that. Maybe message me because I'm not sure before the candle closes. I mean, we're just waiting for the candle to close. If the candle closes, then maybe we'll jump in the trade. It's getting really close. But you see how it keeps bouncing back up? That means buyers are still back in control a little bit. We'll know for sure pretty soon. So we can go down in a lower time frame, of course, and see what's going on. Because remember, candles. Oh no, that was on the 6 hour chart. That's a 6 hour chart for BTC. You're always throwing me curveballs, Zach. Always throwing me curveballs. Keep me on my toes. All right, Darker Storm. We are going to go over AVAX for you, my friend. Ah, now that's interesting because AVAX looks like it could be one of those that we could trade. Good pick. Let's see if we can maybe trade this as well. Because look, we're at a point right now where we are at resistance and we have solid support. So we've got a great tunnel right here. This could be a perfect area to jump into a short and drop down if BTC keeps dropping. So anyway, we'll get back to that in a minute. Let's just go over and check out how AVAX is doing. AVAX is one of those, seems like AVAX is one of those that I did an entire video on how to do the reversal. So you see how the break reversal was formed, and look, we then went into this bigger tunnel here. Okay, we developed this bull tunnel, and then we just fell out of this. So this was a bull tunnel, we fell out of that. So Darker Storm, if you had to ask me right now what's going on with it, well, let's take a look now. We've developed this nice little support area. That's a nice support area. This was a decent bounce, the way it looks. Right now, price is at 67. It was a high of 146, a low of 933. So it's kind of like on the halfway mark, more or less, of where it was. What do I think it's going to do? So Darker Storm, I'm not sure if you know this, and I explain this so often that I'm sure everybody's sick of it, but it's too important to pass up on. Bitcoin is very important. Bitcoin controls your altcoin. Not completely, but Bitcoin has how Bitcoin moves also determines how your alt moves. So, for example, let's see if we can find. I've been trying to find a solid trade all night. I probably won't just because of how the market. Look, it's just stagnant. This is so stagnant. Oh, it's so frustrating. When things actually like this happen, I usually don't even trade. But for you, Darker Storm, AVAX, 67. So just like I've been telling everybody else, this might be the lowest we're going to see these prices. It's a maybe. If Bitcoin gets back down to 30K, I don't think it'll break that, by the way. That's my personal opinion. I do not think we'll break 30K. I do think it's possible we could get down to 33. Totally possible, and possible for 30. So you see how low it got before AVAX got down to 53. So if you want to wait to see what Bitcoin does for another sale price again, you could jump back in and get more, right? So let's see, that area would be somewhere down in here. We've been going over that for the past couple of weeks, where these solid buying areas are. And if Bitcoin were to fall, that could be a solid buying area. Look, it was already down in the 50s. But, and here's the big but, if you think Bitcoin is going to take off from here, then of course this is as low as it's going to get. Pick up more. I think we went over AVAX before. I know we've gone over it before, But I think I might have gone over it for you before, and we can go over if you want to show up live. If you've got any coin, Dark or Storm, we can go over any coin you want. I do that for anybody in the show. So AVAX, it seems like she's moving along. She's halfway between a low and a high, and everything she does is going to be dependent on what Bitcoin does. There is no way around it. Zach is saying that Mana looks like it to be on that high. Let's go back to BTC. Same thing. Remember, we have to react to Bitcoin, not the other way around. We have to submit. Bitcoin has to tell me what direction it's heading before I'm even willing to look at the alt. So if Bitcoin's still doing nothing, now we're getting another inverted hammer, might be more of a spinning top. Let's see. Mana, my good man Zachariah is saying, might be at a top. Yeah, this is another one. See, this is the kind of stuff that I look for all day. So let's see if you're absolutely welcome, dude. Come anytime. Live show Tuesday and Friday night. Every Tuesday, every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come out and see me all the time, man. If you've got anything you want to look at, bring it, and we'll check on it together. Because I want you guys to be as successful as well. That's why I do all this teaching. Anyway, so Zach picked this up. Let's see what we got here. We got a nice resistance or a support point. Let's make a new resistance point. Now, this is an interesting resistance point because it's really been held down, but that actually could be for the most part because Bitcoin ain't doing nothing. So it's like, what the hell are you supposed to do? Seriously, when Bitcoin is this consolidated, it's like you almost like can't trade. And I know some people say, well, you can still trade this and that, but I like to trade only when the trend is visible. And we are still on a bear trend. No matter how you want to slice it, Bitcoin is still on a bear trend. And we've been in a bear trend now since November 9th. So no matter what way you slice it, we are still in a bear trend. We have not left that trap. So a lot of these prices have been wishy-washy too. And of course, you've been seeing lows everywhere, right? Solana has a crazy low. Everything has a crazy low. Right now, Mana looks like it could be at the top. Now, this is another good example. Good find, Zach. Let's set it up. Let's pull out some of our stuff here. Let's get this set up. We've got our EMA. We've got our pivots. We've got our... No, I don't want that one. I want... And if you guys ever have any questions about these indicators I use, or you want to know either what they do, or you want to know where you can get them, just ask me. I will share. I'm big on giving out info. Yeah. So, let's take a look. What do we got? Mana, are you a good candidate? So on the 6 hour, I've got you rising. What do I've got on the 1 hour? On the 1 hour, I have you in consolidation. The RSI on the bottom here, that doesn't get me excited. The visual range is telling me that right now, the biggest and most important area for our little location is right where we are, meaning we might not move too far from the visual range area since this is so powerful right now, unless something crazy happens with Bitcoin. See, again, we're always waiting on Bitcoin. We're always waiting for Bitcoin to make a move before we make a move. Oh, look what's happened. So now, see, now I'll be honest, normally now I would just say forget it. I would just stop trading for the night probably, or come back to a later point. Do you see all of this area now, man? You see all of this? This is a consolidation block. The problem with a consolidation block like this is you don't know which way price is headed. And guess what? If you don't know which way price is headed, you shouldn't be scalping, because that is literally the best way for you to win, is to wait until certain bounces become available. Bitcoin's moving in a certain direction. You find a coin that's in a good point, bad point, whatever. This could be, now this would be, Zach, if Bitcoin was falling, I would put a trade in right now to Mana. Right now, I would put a short trade in. So let's play pretend. We're going to pretend, hey, look, Bitcoin's falling. Isn't that great? Let's place an order. Beep, boop, beep, boop. Okay, so we're going to place a short. If you guys haven't used KuCOIN before, KuCOIN is probably my favorite exchange. It's probably one of the more advanced ones. You can do all kinds of stuff from leverage, margins, bots, you name it, you can do it on KuCOIN. So KuCOIN has a section called futures where you can use a multiplier, and that multiplier can make it so that you can make way more money in a way shorter amount of time. That's why I like to do it. But that also is the problem, because when you use that, you can do what's called being liquidated, which means they take your entire trade if it falls just a little bit, okay, which sucks. So let's say this is a $100 trade. Let's say this is the liquidation point, okay, this line. We place the trade right here, and price immediately starts to fall. If I don't have a stop loss in place and it hits that blue line, they take your money. That's why this is so dangerous. That's why I usually don't recommend it, especially for people who are new. But that's neither here nor there. I have a lot of guys that are trying to do it, and I figured I would show. So let's see where we would put our stop loss, guys. I don't expect price to get past this point. So you see this right here where 2.34 is? I'm going to draw a line. To me, I could use 2.36. You know what? Let's split the difference and let's make it a little bit higher. Okay, so I do not expect, because this is a bounce, right? This is a resistance bounce. So I don't expect price to get back up over this area anytime soon. So that's where we'll put our stop loss. So if I place this order right now, okay, our stop loss would be right above it at 2.37. Now let's go down here and let's see our opportunity and what we have with the actual tunnel itself. Oh man, we've been going for an hour and a half. Awesome. I'll give us a little bit more time. I'm sorry, we're probably not going to do any live trades. I wish we could, but I am thinking about doing some live afternoon trading. This way you guys can see a recording of what I'm doing, if I find something or not. Maybe we'll do that another day. So, but that's why even if I don't find them, I want to go over these examples. So the RSI and MACD are telling me nothing. So everything is going off of Bitcoin. So let's say this is a $100 trade. Let's say that when we get down here, let's say I'm using a nice multiplier. So that down here, when I get to the bottom, now remember this is a short, so I want price to fall. When I get to the bottom, I make 200 bucks. Okay. When I go to cash out, that I know is at this point. So where's a good point for me to actually cash out? Well, let's look at the bottom. The bottom we have right now is formed from back here. This is support. You could use this as well. So we're going to kind of use both. I'm going to kind of use, for now, I'm going to use this one. But this one is always an option because look, if that's 200, then down here should be something like 350, right? So if it looks like Bitcoin is going to continually fall, then you don't necessarily need to put a take profit. You can just wait if you're actively watching it. I like to say if you're actively watching it, you don't always need to take profit. If you are doing these trades, if you're doing a futures trade, you don't always need to take profit, but you always need a stop loss. You always need a stop loss. If you don't have one, you're a fool, because you will lose your money and it can happen fast. You can be liquidated quick. You don't want to be liquidated. Even if you're willing to put the stop loss above the liquidation point, like you don't want to be liquidated, but you're willing to lose, let's say in this case, 50 bucks. And if you get down to minus 60 bucks, maybe that's the liquidation area. So you can set the stop loss above your liquidation area, by the way. Zach says maybe some 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. live trading. Dude, I'll tell you what, I definitely do wake up pretty late, and I usually stay up pretty late too, and I absolutely do some late night trading. So that's exactly my point. If I come up trading and I feel like it looks like Bitcoin is heading in one direction or another, let's see, we are starting to fall a little bit. Do you see how we're still inside of this consolidation block? So once you block yourself off, now this is a pretty tight block. So once it gets out of this, then maybe we could also find some coin, but we'll probably be done the show pretty soon since we're getting to be an hour and a half at this point. But I'm giving you guys examples on what the actual trading looks like. So if I made the trade right here, halfway point, I always mark my halfway point so I know where I'm at in the trade. So let's say that's 100. Okay. Now, again, just like I showed us earlier, if price starts to get to a place that I like and I'm feeling like I just want to take the money, guys, don't be greedy. Take your win. Some people like to be a little bit greedy and wait longer. And you know what? That is up to you as a trader. I personally do not like I like to get out because there's been way too many times that I've seen it happen where I end up, losing out when I should have just taken what I had at the time. Now, this is just an example, but eventually, if we see this fall with Bitcoin's control, I could pop it up at 100. Now, remember, I don't always have to take just the 100. I could take 50 and leave 50. If I do that, that cuts the trade in half, meaning this here turns into 100, and I already took out 50, so I'd be at 50. So you can take some out. You can do a lot of different things with KuCOIN futures. So I just wanted to let you guys know that you don't have to just specifically go take out half, take out a third. You can set up a take profit chain, and I do that too, where you set up several areas, and each area that it hits, TP1, TP2, TP3, usually there's 3. If you get to all 3, that usually means, now of course this shouldn't be here, this should be here, and this would be there. So that would be an example. This way, if the trade doesn't work out, at least you made something. The other thing I wanted to show you guys, I guess this will be the last thing before we go, because literally over an hour and a half now, I want to show you guys what it looks like to ladder your stop losses. This is the technique that I use. I call it a ladder system, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so let's say, hey guys, here we are. We have mana, right? Let's look at BTC. Oh, look, BTC's falling. This is a perfect time because that means mana's probably falling. And look, mana's at a reverse point. It's at a resistance, which means it's going to go the other way. Let's get in the trade. Okay, so this is what this is going to look like. Now, let's say the trade begins. Okay, trade begins. It's looking good. Now, we put our stop loss where? Do we remember? We put it, if this is old resistance, if these are old resistance points, we put it right above the old resistance points. Do you understand that? Because we don't expect price to get there easily. It's if price gets in that area, Bitcoin would have to fire straight up. That's the only way we would hit our stop loss. So we're betting on just a little bit outside of the resistance area. Support is on the bottom. Resistance is on the top. So every time you have a tunnel, every time, support is on the bottom, resistance is on top. So whenever we're talking about sup res, that's what that means, okay? So now we place our order. Boom, we've got it. We're right here. This is our order zone right there, this spot. Here's what the deal is. Let's pretend that price starts to go up, or, so that we start to make some profit, right? We're making profit. Do you guys love my lovely candles? Aren't they lovely? Okay. So now we can take our stop loss and cancel it. Okay? Well, let's say price got up to this area. Let's say this is a $200 order. We'll use 200 this time. And what we can do is we can cancel the stop loss, right? And we can move the stop loss. It's not going to let me do it with that. We can move the stop loss to an area that's green. Does that make sense? I'm going to explain it again. If I go into my KuCOIN futures profit and loss, okay, and I set up my stop loss. Let's say I set it up right now at 2.4. All right. Well, let's say price starts to move and I want to take $10. I know this is a $200. Let's say I want to take 20 bucks. I don't know. It's a $200 trade. I want to take 20 bucks. Well, let's say I'm already this far into the trade. Okay. So I've started my trade at 2.28. Right now we're at 2.21. Remember, the farther it falls, the more money I make. So what I can do is I can then set the stop loss to stop at a point where I would still make money. I do this all the time. I do this every day almost. So now I turn my stop loss off. I'm still profit, but the stop loss is off. What I then do is I move the stop loss into an area where if it hits, it, I make it cancel the trade, but because I'm still in the green, I've made money. That is a beautiful thing, because then let's say you don't want to watch the trade anymore, but you already know you're winning. Oh, okay. Well, I'll set a stop loss so I at least take $10. You can do that with futures, and that's an important thing that I do all the time. Zach says guaranteed profit by moving the SL into the green. That's right. Zach is 100% correct. Guaranteed profit if you move your stop loss into the green. Now, I wish I could actually show that to you on screen, and that's something I'm going to work on in the future. I'm going to work on somehow getting us getting an area so that I can do KuCOIN live on screen, so you can see KuCOIN as well at the same time. But I kind of have limited space. Maybe I'd get rid of the of this guy up here. Maybe I'd get rid of the Conquering Crypto thing in the middle and try to put KuCOIN there so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. I've also thought about activating my phone so my phone also shows on screen. I know there's a way to do that, but my biggest concern is showing my account on the internet. Like, I don't want to click off certain things and my account numbers get shown or something. I don't know. That's why I was doing it this way, but we'll figure out something for the future. Zach says it sucks it doesn't go into the green, though. Oh, yeah, boy, does it. But that's when you can just cut your losses short, man. If it doesn't go into the green and it looks like it's not going to, screw it. Just cut your losses short. That's what I do all the time anyway. If I feel like it's not going to be a successful trade, I don't need to wait around all day. I want to just make my 10 or 20, 30, 40, 80 and get out. If it's going to dilly-dally, forget it. Since Bitcoin really isn't doing too much, look at that. It hasn't even exited the consolidation box we made. That's going to do the show for tonight then, guys. We were over an hour and a half. Sorry we didn't get to do any actual live trading, but I hope that I gave you guys good examples. It's kind of hard to do the live trading with futures because I have to find an opportune time. But that's why I said if we don't find them, I'm at least going to give you guys examples. So thanks for coming out, guys. Friday night, Conquering Crypto Live. My name is DeMarco. We're going to be doing another live show again Tuesday night, 8:30. Maybe we'll also do some live trading or some live examples, or I'm going to be doing something more with that relatively soon. But I know I have some of you out there that are doing the futures, and I wanted to show you how I succeed with it because honestly, I make more money doing futures than anything else. And I mean even day trading, swing trading, investing. I make more money doing this than anything else. So I want to show you my techniques. I think at some point I'm going to have a paid program where you can actually come into a private room with me and trade with me if anybody's interested in that in the future. Probably wouldn't be something too expensive if you're interested in that, but we'll be doing that in the future. If you want to find us on the Facebook. That's our main area. The Discord is our other main area. I post a lot of TA on TradingView. I haven't been updating it because there's been nothing to show. This is crap. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? This is nothing. This is consolidation. I can't work with that. It stinks. It's the way it goes. But I'm not going to stop doing shows. I still want to put out all this stuff because I'm a trooper. You're a trooper because you're still involved in doing this. And guys, I really appreciate you coming out. If you do want to shoot me a tip, if you want to give me $5, $10 just because, you're more than welcome to through the Venmo. Of course, none of that's required. I have no problem giving you guys good info. And that's it. That's going to do it for me. And we'll see you guys Tuesday. I'm sure I'll be updating and doing other things as well. And we're going to do more of this KuCOIN trading live in the future, just so you guys can get a handle on what I'm actually doing. And I do want to figure out a way for me to get KuCOIN on the screen, but in a way that it's like protecting my accounts, but you can still see what the active P&L looks like unrealized. So we can go over that for Zach. And Zach, have a great weekend, man. Darker Storm, thanks for coming out. Let's see who else we had. Denny, I'm sure you left a bit ago, but it's always great seeing you, man. And I don't know, we had 4 or 5 people in here the whole time. Guys, really appreciate you coming out Friday night. Friday night's my favorite show night. And I'm sorry we didn't get through any actual live trading, but at least I wanted to give you guys examples of what the futures live trading would look like. We'll go over live trading when there's actually something to live trade. I do like, again, you can deal with these peaks and valleys and make little profits, but look at this. I can't do anything with this. If Bitcoin is going to be this lazy and do nothing, I can't do anything with it. So guys, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate you. That's going to do it for me tonight. I'm DeMarco signing off. Peace out, guys. Thanks so much. Really appreciate you guys. See you all Tuesday.